Who here has goals? Who here wants to become a new person? Who here? I know that I do. I know that I like to change. I know that I like to become someone better, someone new. And so say that's you today. You moved to a new city and you thought, it's going to be better for me. It's going to be new opportunity. And then 6 months later, you have the same problems and all you got with some different scenery. Or how about that you do something like quit drinking? Anybody have an addiction they wanted to stop? I know that pornography is huge out there for a lot of men. I want to quit that. I want to quit doing drugs, quit sleeping around the town. And you plan to quit this stuff, but you keep meeting the same guys, the same people at the same bar, the same hangouts, going to the same websites. You know what I'm talking about. And what do you say each and every single time that you do the thing that you want to stop doing? It's just one last time. Or I'm only going to go out for just one drink. I won't go full bore pornography, but I'm just going to take a look at that one girl that came up on my social media feed. I'm just admiring beauty. And see, a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And how many people make a New Year's resolution? How many people, if it's not a New Year's resolution, when you turn a year older, make a resolution? I'm 18 now. It's going to be different. I'm 25 now, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. It's going to be different now. You swore this year would be different, and yet you got in your vehicle, you drove by the same route past that same donut shop every single morning, and it's a crux. It's you just find yourself pulling right into the same places. You go home, you flip open your laptop. Again, you go to that same website. You listen to the same crowd, that the only reason you listen to that crowd is to see what they're saying or what's going on. And it makes you feel gross afterwards. And speaking of people like that, maybe you got an ex, or maybe you got some friend that is just not good for you. And it got to a point that you even blocked the phone number. But then you keep going to where they gonna be. Driving by their work, driving by their house, driving by gatherings or party sites or whatever, functions, and they're gonna be there. So you can just get caught up in that same drama. I mean, you said you're done with the drama. And I hear this one a lot. And then you go and you click onto that group chat. You go and you click onto that website or that YouTube channel, that Facebook post, and all that group does is just go into that same garbage and that same drama. In fact, they're fueled by it, and you just keep on clicking. See, somebody somewhere told you this cliche. You can't run from your problems. Wherever you go, there you are. Who's heard that? You can't run from you. There's no sense in trying to run away from your issues and problems and this, that, and the other, because wherever you go, you're going there with you. And that is true. And a lot of times that's with people who don't really want to change. See, that's the difference. because you leave that certain crowd, that certain town, that certain group, but it's not because you're fully committed to change. And so when you go into that new area, you attract to you what you really want on the inside. As a man thinketh, so is he. It all begins in the heart. And like a moth to a flame, you pull in that old crowd. New faces, same old personalities and people. Why? Because in that new place, in that new town, you go to the same places, the same things, attracted to the same people. And then we just stop there and we say, see, that doesn't work. You lock someone up in prison for 10 years and then they get released, and the first thing they go out is get that joint, get that drink, get that woman, get that thing. That's because that person didn't want to change. But see, here's what they don't always tell you. Is you can't become a new person standing in the middle of your old friggin' life. God says it too, and we are going to change some people's lives this morning. I guarantee it. Because see, here's the truth I come to tell you today, man. Change isn't just an inside job. God himself, when he wanted to transform somebody, almost never changed them where he or she stood. God's a God who moves, and God moves his people. See, this morning I'm going to show you the pattern and exactly how to break your loop this week. So stick with me, man. If you're sick of the same loop that you're caught in and day out, and you're ready to level up. So I'm glad that you're here, man. I'm glad that you're joining us up here in the chat. Much love to every single person out there on the other side of that camera. Tune in. Get your kids tuned in. Get your loved ones tuned in. Get your friends and family tuned in. If you're new here, drop in where you're watching from, because you picked a good one today. If you're up here on that replay, you're right on time. We're live every single Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, if you want to hit up with us new next week. See, let me show you why change keeps on failing you. That's, of course, taking into consideration you actually want to change. And this may shock many, many people, because this is where I came from. Oh, and I pray you got your favorite beverage. You know, we ain't going into the desert today without a canteen. How many people out there say, I just need more willpower? How many people out there say, I just need more willpower when I can't change? I just need to be more disciplined. See, it's not your willpower. It's your setup. That's the loop. Your alarm goes off in the morning, and how many people out there swear, man, I'm going to get up earlier. I'm going to start waking up earlier. And that alarm goes off and you just hit that snooze. And in fact, it's just habitual. You feel good about yourself because you at least set the alarm, but you ain't ever getting up to it. And you don't just say, I'm just going to stop setting the alarm because I don't get up anyway, because then you'd feel like you just gave up, even though you're giving up each and every single day. But you got the alarm set, you fly up out of bed and you say the night before, tomorrow going to be different. The alarm hits, you go right into your routine. You're not even fully awake yet and you're already making that pot of coffee, or maybe the pot of coffee programmed and made itself. And so you go right to the coffee, and when you hit the coffee, every time I get the coffee, I grab the sugary cereal or I grab the donut. It's just routine. And I go do this and go do that and go do this and go do that. And then you go to work and you sit at the same desk every single day, or you're at the same place every single day, and 5 p.m. hits for those that get off at 5 or whatever the time is you get off, and you're just like on autopilot. This is just what I do. I go out and meet the boys for drinks every single day at 5. It's 5 somewhere. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And it's just on autopilot. One thing triggers the next all day. It's like you're a train on rails, dude. No steering wheel. Your whole life is just like a row of dominoes where one thing triggers the next thing and it triggers the next thing. You're not even choosing most of your day. You're just falling forward through it. I know somebody out there hears that. And then you try to change like one domino with your pure willpower, your pure determination and discipline, while every other domino stays exactly where it was. You got the same route, the same fridge, the same wake up time, the same 5 o'clock. You're around the same people, the same. And then you wonder why you fail. Well, you didn't fail because you're weak. You failed because you tried to become a new person inside a life that's built for the old one. Anybody ever heard of crop rotation? You just can't keep growing new fruit in the same old soil. We got to get some better nutrients going. See, God, he knew all about this, man. You read the Bible, you're going to get a lot of wisdom because it's the oldest wisdom book that's ever been written. So I want you to see what God does. We're going to do this. We're going to go over to Genesis 12. Here we are. And in Genesis 12, God finds a man named Abraham. Starts out Abram, and then he gets a name change. Why do you think God does name changes in the Bible when he changes identity to people? Because you're going to embody something completely new. So God finds a man named Abram, and he's about to turn him into Abraham, the father of the nations. The biggest identity change in all the Bible, and look at God's very first instruction, Genesis 12:1. Now Yahweh, the Lord, said to Abram, go from your country. 1, leave your country. 2, and your kindred. Leave your family. Leave your people. 3, and your father's land and your father's house. 3, and your father's house. Threefold here. And go to a new land, right? A land that I will show you, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great so that you will be a blessing. Did you catch what God just did? Did you catch what he listed? You've got your Bibles. Leave your country. Leave your people. Leave your father's household. That's place, that's tribe, and that's family system. 3 layers of Abraham's environment, and God literally names all 3 before he gets to any promised lands. See, God didn't say, Abram, work on your mindset. Abram, work on that willpower. Abram, work on that discipline and do it all right here in your hometown of Ur. I didn't read right here that God handed Abram any type of daily devotional. Literally, the first thing that God does with the man he's about to transform is he changed his physical address. He changed his people. He changed literally his entire setup. And he did it because God knew you cannot become the father of a new nation while you're still sleeping in your father's old house. New identity required, new ground. See, it's not just a one-off either, man. Moses, before God could use him, did he not have to leave Egypt? Yes or no? 40 years. Because where did he go first? He left Egypt to go to the Midianites. Yeah, Midian. 40. Did he just go to Midian for 4 hours? 4 weeks. No, he went to Midian for 40 years. What do we got with Moses? New land, new people, new rhythm. Then God sends Moses back. Did Moses come back the same person? See, God didn't say to Moses, I just need, here's a daily devotional. Moses, I just need you to increase some willpower and to do that. He needed Moses to be a whole different person. That's what you need to understand. He needed Abraham to be an entirely different person. He needed Moses to be an entirely different person. That the older version of Abraham, the Abraham wouldn't know who Abram even was. Because his name was Abram, and then God changed it to Abraham, just for everyone to follow. And I'm telling you that Abraham, looking back on the early years of his life, wouldn't even know who that young man was anymore. He changed so much. And Moses, did he not become, in the beginning, he's just like, God, I can't speak. Let someone speak for me. God, I can't do this. God, I know you got a plan for my life. I feel it in my heart and my soul. God, I know that there's more opportunity out there for me. And God says, yes, there is, but you're not the man. You're not the woman that's going to be able to do that. And you even look at it and say, I want more, I want better, I want opportunity, I want this, I want that. But how? How? Because you're not the type of person that can see how to get there. That's why you don't know how to get there. And that's how come you don't plan every step of the way. You got your goal and you just start walking towards it. And while you're walking towards it, God's going to change you into the man or the woman that you need to be able to handle it when you get there. But you have to go on the walk before you can be the person that can do the thing. You have to be shaped and molded and formed like a potter does with clay. And as soon as you start to get shaped, molded, and formed, it gets scary because you're becoming somebody entirely new. And doubt starts to creep in. What if this change isn't good? And what if this and what if that? And I'm so scared. I don't know how and I don't know. When those Israelites went marching out into the promised land following Moses' lead, they didn't know the exact path to get there. In fact, God took them on a whole different path, didn't he? Why he shaped, molded, and formed them out in that wilderness to the people that they were going to need to be when they got into that promised land to be able to lead the campaign in the promised land. And not everybody was as equipped to lead as they thought they were. Not everybody made it. Not everybody makes the transformation. When you look out and you see those people out there, brothers and sisters, that you admire, that you want to be like, that you want things that they have in their life. Everybody wants what somebody else has, but they don't want to have to do what that person did to get there. You want the new body. You want the new mindset. You want the new house, the new car, the new place, to do this, to do that, but you don't want to do the work to get there. And then what other people will do, man, and I see this a lot, is you'll see what these other people have, and then you make excuses by demonizing they must have sold their soul to the devil to get that house, to get that car, to get that thing. And if it has anything to do with any sort of faith at all, oh, they're just preaching prosperity gospel. When I open my Bible, man, and I read it, I see that the men and the women of that Bible were very prosperous. In fact, it was a promise God gave his people. Did he not say, be fruitful and multiply? Wasn't it not Satan when the people of God would disobey God and God would send in an army of another nation, a people of another nation to do what? Rob, steal, and destroy his people for their disobedience, to plunder and to take everything from them. But so many people want to go around beaten and struck down. Devil beat you before you even started. What's happening this morning is God's trying to get through to a group of people, an individual that knows they want to change. They know they want to be different, but they're caught in a loop and they can't figure their way out. They're caught in a loop of excuses. They're caught in a loop of blame and a loop of shame. And today we're going to play a different game. Because God, in order to make Moses who he needed him to be, had to take him into a new land around a new group of people, a new environment to shape him, mold him, and then bring him back while he was still scared. He didn't take Moses and go, oh, I see that you got problems speaking. I see that you think you're insufficient. So what we'll do is we'll work on this in a little class, Moses, to get you ready. And then when you feel comfortable, Moses, then I will send you back to go and get my people. No, he said, Moses, have faith. I will be with you. I go out before you. I've shown you that I am there. I'm backing you. Just start walking. Start walking while you're scared. Start walking while you're nervous. Go and do the job that I've created you to do. And what does Moses have next? A fear of people. He doubts himself. And because he doubts himself and he doesn't see himself as the person that he needs to be, he sees himself through other people's eyes. And when he goes there, they doubt him too. How many people out there know that today's the day? They know that they need to change. They need to break the loop, but they're afraid of what other people are going to think. They're afraid about what other people are going to say. They're afraid that other people won't understand them. Well, that was Moses. And Moses went back a different man to get his people out. See, the pattern is everywhere. When God wants you to change who you are, he starts where you are and who you are with. Who you are with. See, God didn't change Abraham in Ur. God changed Abraham on the way out. And did Abraham have all the answers? That's why circumcision came into play, because Abraham doubted the promises. God, I know that I'm going to inherit, but how do I know that I know that I know? God, how can I guarantee you're going to keep your word? And then God comes down and does a covenant of a cutting of flesh that was common to the people of that day, so that Abraham in his human state could understand the promise that God was making. See, some people out there, man, you're caught right now. And here's the part in that you're not being warned about enough. It's the in-between. Did you hear what I said? It's the in-between. What's the in-between? When you leave your old tribe, you don't arrive at the new one the next morning. There's a wilderness in the middle. Somebody need to rewind that. Israel, you open your Bible, they live this exact thing. God pulled them out of Egypt, out of the old environment, the old masters, the old identity, but they don't walk straight into the promised land, did they? What did they walk into? That's right, the wilderness. And the wilderness was a hot, scary desert with danger on all sides, everything unknown. And in that desert, listen to what they kept saying. Let's go check it out. Exodus, Shemoth, 16:3. And the people of Israel said to them, said to who? Moses and Aaron, Moshe, right? And the people said to Moses and Aaron, what that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Shocking. Is it? See, I thought that they cried in the wilderness and didn't want to be. I mean, they cried in Egypt and wanted to be set free. I thought they were being exploited by their taskmasters and that they wanted a savior to rescue them. But yet I read here that they missed their captivity. They missed Egypt, the place that enslaved them. I mean, at least we had the pots of meat. At least we knew what? The routine, folks. They missed their routine. The old life was killing them, but it was familiar. And most people would rather be consumed by the devil they know than face the unknown. The loop is comfortable even when it's a cage, folks. You even go and read about slavery throughout the world. There's been a lot of it. And some that we're familiar with is a slavery that happened on U.S. soil. And you read about however terminology you want to use, African American, Africans, black people, just whatever you want. That when they were brought over and mistreated to the level that they were, that a lot of them were afraid to leave. They were afraid to run out into the wilderness because something could get us out there, or somebody could find us. And it's like, well, look what you're living in, but it was something familiar. It was something that they knew. And I can't even imagine what that was like. But I do know what it's like to be in a job or a place of life or a physical condition that you want out of, but the change in routine is so unfamiliar. It's like, I'll just stay in what I'm in because it's what I know. And you won't admit it, you won't say it, but just watch what your actions are. You stay in that same thing year after year after year. And here's the other thing, it's lonely. It's a lonely middle ground too. Because anybody out there that levels up their life, you're going to know what I'm talking about. When you have changed too much to hang around your old crowd anymore. When you're around them, you don't have the same interest anymore. You don't want to do the same things anymore. You don't look at the world the same as they do anymore. And you just feel it. This is not my clique. This isn't my tribe anymore. And you set out. But yet you're not yet home in the new tribe. Because you haven't become that new person that is going to draw that new tribe. See, and some of you out there right now, you're in that wilderness this morning. You left your old crowd. It could even have been years ago. You don't do what they even do anymore, or think like they think, or talk like they talked, but you haven't found your new people yet. If you know what I'm talking about, put a heart in that chat. Come on, man. Somebody got to be out there with me on this one. How many people have felt that loneliness out there? You need to hear me today, man. That lonely middle stretch, that's not a sign that you made the wrong move. Because many people are going to think that. And the crowd that you left can manipulate and monetize, or, they could capitalize upon that. Don't leave us. If you leave us, your life's going to suck. And then you just dress that up in whatever words that they want to use. You leave us, your life's going to be worse, fella. And then when you go out and you now you're in that desert. You're in that transition stage. You might be thinking, just like the Israelites thought, did we make the wrong move here? See, what's wild about things that you leave, when you leave the captivity of whatever it is, you leave a bad relationship. You left that relationship because of all the negative stuff. It just kept building up. And you're like, yeah, this is not for me. And you leave. But then you see that ex out there 6 months later, that old group of people, that old captivity land. You see it 6 months later. You only remember what? The meat pots. The bread that you could eat till you're a full. You only think about that ex that you knew it was wrong, that your relationship was soured. You only think about the good times that you had. You forget all the bad things. And you start to think, maybe it'll be different this time. That's why people keep going back to these old addictions, man, these old captivities. You pour one on a Saturday night or whatever, you drink too much and you swear off drinking. You wake up Sunday morning, I ain't going to drink ever again. Who's ever done that? I'm done with it. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week go by, and all of a sudden now you forget about that soured feeling that you had that morning. All you can remember is all the pleasure it gave you. And maybe you walk away from an addiction or something like that, and then you got that old crowd going, yeah, you're no fun. Weekends are boring for you now. You got that ex or that group of people trying to point out everything that happened in your life, because again, you just can't block them and leave them and get away from them. You just cling on every word they got to say, and then you use their things as a bread trail back into captivity. You use it as a sign you made the wrong move, man. Maybe I did have more fun with that old crowd. Maybe I did have fun in that wrecked old relationship. Maybe I was happier when I was 300 pounds overweight. Maybe if this is life sober, I might as well go back to drinking. It's not a sign you made the wrong move. It's simply just the crossing. Egypt to Canaan, baby, was never a doorway. Egypt to Canaan was a desert, and everybody who ever became someone new had to walk it. See, you want that new life. You want to go up to a whole nother level. But you don't want to do the walk, man. You don't want to do what it takes to get there. That's the trouble. But do you know what's good about that? Is you can change it anytime you want. And one more thing about leaving, because this one stings. When you start to change, just like I was talking about, the old crowd, they're going to mock you. They're going to mock you. Like, oh, what? You're too good for us now? Oh, what? Anybody that ever left me or whatever, they never made it. You can't do it without me. And that could be your old church. That could be your old relationship. That could be your old job. You leave this job, you ain't never getting a better one. See, all these narcissist freaks, they all use this. What about, hey, children, kids, teens, listen up, man. What about your peers at school? Maybe you're the one that drinks and parties or does these things, or you haven't done these things and they're trying to pressure you to do them. And you skip the party, you skip that hangout because you know that it's going to be what? A bad environment. And what? The kids at school laugh. Oh, you too good for us? Oh, you holier than thou? You go out with a friend group and maybe it's after work, but this time instead of the beer, you order water. And they ride you all night. And that's a crazy one. Because then they'll put it on, you're going to be the third wheel of the party, right? You're going to be the boring person out there. Because who's ever went out somewhere? Man, I experienced this at church, if you can believe that, when I would go and wouldn't drink. And they're like, you seriously? You're not drinking? Like what? And why do you got a problem with my life decisions? How in any way, shape, fashion, or form does my decision not to drink affect you? In fact, isn't it even better to have one person sober in this environment? And some people on there are like, did he just say at church that was a problem? It is wild what you would see happen at some church gatherings out there. But wouldn't you why? The only reason that I can personally think of, and maybe out there in the chat, you're going to let me know something that I haven't thought of, is that you are a mirror. And your decision that I don't need to drink to have a good time directly points at them and shines a light on them. I need you to make me feel like I'm not a loser, man. Please take a drink. Or how about you get up early and you hit that gym before work? You hit that gym right after work. And friends of yours are like, who are you trying to impress? I'll see it with women all the time, man. You got women out there that'll go and shed like 50 or 60 pounds, and all of a sudden she's already getting accusations. Especially she's married. Well, she probably looking around. If she was comfortable, and she's married, why does she care what she looks like anyway? Her husband doesn't want her to work out. Why is she working out? I bet there's something going on fishy here. Why? It just could be because who would just want to better themselves? See, I want every teenager and every adult hearing this to understand why these people mock. It's not really about you. Your change holds up a mirror, man, to their staying. Every step you take forward, quietly ask them why they haven't moved, and that is uncomfortable. And so they laugh at the mirror. And you know what I say to that? Do what I say to and so many of you don't even want to put your workout photo up on the internet. Well, they'll think I'm trying. How many people out there, whether it's that you had a physical transformation, mental transformation, leveled up your finances, leveled up something in your life, made a change from the old people you used to hang out with, and you are afraid to put that online because you're afraid that they're going to judge you. You're afraid that they're going to think that you've gone off the wrong way. Well, of course they're going to think you've gone off the wrong way. You're not like them anymore. And change scares them. But you don't want to put nothing out there. You're afraid what your old church thinks. You're afraid what your ex thinks. You're afraid what your old boss thinks. You're afraid what your mama thinks. They're going to talk about you, whether you go back and hang and chill and become just like the old miserable person you were. They're still going to talk about you. I knew she or he would never make it. Let them. Let them. Let them do them. You're not leaving because you're better than them. You're leaving because you're becoming something and they've decided not to become that. You're leveling up and they're staying the same. So what? Bless them. But they said, and they put this post, and then a couple of people liked that post. 10 people liked that negative comment about me. Let them, bless them, love them. What did Peter say, man, when he was persecuted for being a Christian? Let him, bless him. It's a badge of honor. And you keep on walking. You keep on walking. Because they ain't laughing at you. They're just laughing at the mirror that they see themselves in, and you're that mirror, man. You should take it as encouragement. Ooh, I'm changing. I'm becoming better, and I like who I'm becoming. See, here's how this changes things. Both the cliche and the correction are true. You do have to change on the inside. That's true. You cannot run from yourself. You are wherever you go. Wherever you go, there you are. And you make that change 100 times harder when you stay standing in the old setup. That's the deal. You're just making it more complicated and more difficult. Don't you want to make your life easier? If you want to change, don't you want a better chance at changing? See, God knew that. God could have changed people where they were, but he gave us the model. He gave us the model to change. So the move is work on who you are becoming while you rebuild where you live it and who you live it with. The inside job and the outside job of transformation, it's the same job. Don't have one without the other. And see, here's what that's going to look like. You break one domino in your life, in your routine. You find one trigger loop, the route past the donut shop, the 5 p.m., this is just what me and the boys do. That going to the refrigerator the first second you feel bored, or that pantry closet that has that snack you love. You got to change the route. Put change in the chat if you're with me. Come on now. Come on now. You got to change your route. So you lay out the workout clothes at night before because you're trying to build a new trigger. You sit that basket of fruit in the kitchen instead of being way off in the other side of the room. So that's the thing that you see. Or you take your gym bag, you get it loaded, and you put it in the car. So you got it there right when you get off work. And here's the key, guys, I'm telling you that somebody that does this today is going to change their life. Somebody that does this today has that loop that they're stuck in. They've wanted to level up and they keep getting caught in the same pattern. This is going to be the breakthrough. I guarantee it, because it's worked for me. It's worked for millions of people. You want to get out of that slumpy routine that you have when you get off work. Change the way that you drive home. Take a left instead of a right. Change it. Don't keep driving past those same places every day. Take a different way home. That's one domino. When you feel that feeling of like a boredom or this or whatever, you got to change that one domino. When you find yourself going to the pantry and you're like, I go to it every day, write a note and stick it on that pantry door. Saying like, stop, grab a banana, grab an apple, go for a walk. Something in there that has a pattern, interrupt. It's going to be difficult at first, and I promise you your brain's going to rewire. I promise you it. When you change that one domino, watch the row behind it stop falling. It's going to happen. When that weekend hits, anybody have like they live for the weekend? And you're like, dude, I do good during the week. Do you ever notice that? Anybody out? Have you ever noticed it? That if you got things, whether it's like you got a sweet tooth, whether it's you drink a lot, whether it's you go to clubs, whether it's you sleep with different people, whatever the thing you're struggling with, that you're like, dude, I do great all week. Monday, I don't feel like an impulse to do it. Tuesday, I'm good. Wednesday, I got all this willpower. Thursday, I'm strong as an ox. Friday at 5:00, everything falls to boop. Because your brain is wired to know it's Friday at 5 p.m. This is what you do Friday at 5 p.m. This is where you go. This is who you see. This is who you hang out with. And now you got accountability partners, but they're in a bad area. You got the brother or sister be calling you up going, hey, we're all down here. Where are you? And they pull you back. So now you got to remove that first domino, man. It comes Friday at 5 and I'm going to change my pattern. I'm going to change my location. I'm going to pack a gym bag. I'm going to go do this thing differently. And some people, man, it's during the week and you get off work, you go, I'm doing really, really good until it hits 7 p.m. and my favorite show comes on, or this comes on, or I go to bed. I was talking with a guy that was trying to break pornography. And he goes, man, I just struggle. And so the question that I asked him, as I said, do you find it that it's like a routine? He's like, well, what do you mean? And I go, you say you struggle with it daily. Yeah, I struggle with it daily. Do you struggle with it in the middle of the day while you're at work? Well, no. Oh, okay. When do you struggle with it? And he's like, well, when I get home and I eat and I do my physical activities and I got some things going. And he goes, it's always right before I go to bed. He's like, I literally just go in and brush the teeth and whatever and go to bed. He goes, I'll even pray. And even as soon as I lay down in bed, all of a sudden, all this imagery starts coming into my head of pornography and things. He goes, I find myself getting out and consuming pornography. I go, yeah, so your body is in a loop and you're being triggered. The trigger is when I lay down to go to bed, this is the time that I watch pornography, and your brain will spike that. You feel it in the body. The compulsion to do it. I go, so you just have to rewrite this. You just have to train your body and retrain your mind. So what do you enjoy? Like, what's something simple that you can enjoy at the time you go to bed that could be just for that time only? You don't do it any other time. We went through a few things, and one thing that he said that's a treat for him that he doesn't do for himself very often is a nice hot bath. And he goes, I don't do it very often, but when I do and I get in it, he's like, why don't I do this more often? I go, here is what you do, is that do not take that hot bath until you go to lay down. And at the time that you feel the compulsion to watch pornography, you go take your hot bath. and you rewired his brain. Of course, the first night that he goes to do it, and the second night and possibly the third night, it's new and he feels the pull to go do the pornography anyway. But he's stuck with the new routine. And now when he goes, the last I heard, or is that when he goes to lay down to go to bed, all of a sudden his body goes, I wanted to go take a hot bath. Next, you got to audit the tribe of people that you're around. Why don't you write down the 5 people you spend the most time with? Because you know that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look around at who you are and look around the people that you hang around. And I bet you're a lot alike. Next is you take these people, the 5 people, put down one honest word about that person. And audit, does this person pull me towards who I'm becoming or back towards who I was? Now, sometimes people will go, oh, this is more of like what do they call that? Like a transactional relationship. Oh, so you just about those transactional relationships. You just use people to get to that next step. You just step on people's backs and necks to get up to where you want to be. That's not what I'm talking about. Yes or no, do we see examples in the Bible where God took the man or the women he's trying to change out from the environment they were in? We saw it. The same accusations could be put towards Moses, could be put towards Abraham. You wish them well, you bless them, you don't go out and you don't trash them. You don't go and make the level up changes and get to that promised land place. And then, as you're climbing up the mountain and crossing the desert and look back and ridicule and mock. You don't need to make some special announcement. Guys, I'm leaving the group chat. I want everybody to know. You know those people that leave social media websites like Facebook and then they got to put an announcement, I'm leaving Facebook. And you're like, bro, okay, just leave. This place is toxic. I need to leave. You don't need any drama. Just audit the friends that you have and see it on paper. I'm encouraging you, man, to take one step towards the new tribe, towards that new class that you thought about taking to level up. Take one step towards the gym. Take one step towards Bible study. The group of people already doing what you are becoming, you don't have to belong yet. You just have to show up once. That's how Abraham started it too. He took one step out of Ur. And if you like, well, God, if he would just call me like he called Abraham, then I would have clarity. I'm telling you, God's been calling a lot of you daily, whether he's using somebody like me or whether he's using that small whisper inside your heart. He's been calling you for a long time and you know it. People out there waiting for a sign. And you keep changing and moving the goalpost, man. When are you going to make that change? And here's where I'm going to leave you. God looked at a man in Ur and saw the father of nations. And the first thing he said was, leave. 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 You don't think his friends and family and everybody was saying, stay. There's going to be, you don't think when he was crossing that desert that he had human and animal deaths and violent. Go read that Bible. He faced all kinds of opposition that could have easily been said, You made the wrong move. Imagine if social media was playing back then and people were posting that was in his camp. Oh, this happened today, that happened today, that happened, that happened. You don't think that the mockers back home watching would say, look at him. I told you he would never succeed. I told you he could never make it. Abraham left my house and look what happened to him. His people got taken off into captivity. Look what happened. Look what happened. Could have easily been said. You wouldn't have faced all that if you just stayed back here. Because it scared them. It scared the people. Change scared them. Because if God's going to make of you a great nation and a great person, a great human being, and you have to leave that environment in order to make it happen, what does it say about that environment? Moses had to leave Egypt to become the man who could go back to Egypt. And Israel had to cross the wilderness to become a people who could hold a promise. Guys, you're not stuck because you've been trying to become someone new. You've been stuck because you're trying to become someone new on ground that was built for someone old. And you're allowed to leave. You're allowed to leave the route. You're allowed to leave the room. You're allowed to leave the tribe. Yes, you are. God's people have been moving to change. God's people have been being moved by God from lands, from families, from familiarity. God has been taking people out and away from people since Genesis 12. So here's the question I'm going to leave you with today, guys. What is the one place, what is the one person your old self keeps returning to? And what is that place that your old self that keeps returning to, that the new person you are becoming needs to walk away from? This week, for anybody that's out there trying to break this loop, you got the guidelines and make it your own. Take the nuggets that resonated today and build your map out of your old life into the new person you're becoming. In order to do that, write down the characteristics of the person that you know you need to be and that you're becoming and that you want. Right? You know the things you want to change and put those down. And now you have a goal. And you don't have a straight line to that goal. And it's not for you to figure out because God's going to lead you. But you get a clear picture of what that looks like. And of course it can change. And of course it can mold because it's going to, because you're just going to keep getting better year after year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day. And look at the people in your life. Look at your environment. Look at the room you're in, the tribe you're around. And note, do those things correlate and map and get me closer to that goal? And if they don't, you start shedding those things as you walk away from them to get to that goal. So that's the mirror. Join us every single Saturday, 10 a.m. Central. We love to have you guys here. All right. Bless you.